Hi guys, it's good to be talking with you again, and I just want to let you know that on Monday I'll be sending an email out. Monday at 1:30, we're going to have a Zoom call with just you guys and see how you're doing. And on Monday we'll just talk briefly about our next video. I'm not going to do a video on Monday because what I'd like you to do on the Zoom call is bring a notebook and a pen or pencil. We're going to take a few notes. We're also going to get to chat generally with everybody, see how everybody's doing. But we're going to take notes as if we were in a classroom setting on Monday instead of just watching the video, okay? A little different, little break up, a little routine there. Okay, and I hope everybody's doing well and staying healthy. And when you can, I know the weather's not been the best to do this, but when you can, try to get outside and get a breath of fresh air. The governor has encouraged us to go out in walks, not of course in groups, but go out for a walk. Take a little stroll out in your backyard or in your front yard or whatever, however your property is, just to get out a little bit. Now, we're going to continue with the sign of the beaver. And we're going to do this over the next little bit of time, couple weeks, just to kind of give you a little break in your classes. But you do have a writing assignment, remember, where I want you to just jot down some facts of a specific event in history and email those facts to me. That way I can see what area you're going to be covering, what you're going to be doing, whether you're going to be doing the pandemic, the coronavirus, you're going to be doing an aspect in history, whether it's music, art, some other historical event. Just give me some facts, and then we're going to put a fictionalized story to it. Okay? So that is our homework assignment, and that's going to be spread out over a few days. It's not going to be Thursday. Today you have to write the facts, give it to me tomorrow. If you have facts for me for tomorrow, great. If not, I would like them at least by Monday so I can see. And then maybe by Thursday we'll finish everything up with the writing aspects. We have almost a week to do that. Okay. Now, the sign of the beaver. The second chapter starts with Matt realizing that he's alone, but he gets over being alone pretty quickly, and he starts doing his chores on a more rapid basis because he decides that he likes his freedom. His freedom is pretty great. So he completes his chores on his own schedule, and time starts to fly by. However, when we think of time flying by, time goes so quickly that we have free time to do whatever we want to do. Well, as time flies by for Matt, it's not necessarily, excuse me, that he's having time to do whatever he wants to do. It's flying by, and what that means is he has a lot of time on his hands because he still has a lot of other things to do, such as he has to chink logs or clear more trees in the forest, and he has to keep building up firewood supply so that when winter comes, it's already done. He doesn't have to do that when his father gets back there. And of course, if there's any delays with his father getting back and his family getting back, then he's still going to have to do it. The garden requires also one thing that's one of the biggest annoyances that we discover in chapter 2 is how Matt has to keep the fire going. He has to figure out a way to keep the fire going through the night. So he tries to stay awake because he doesn't have neighbors that are close by. He tries to stay awake, and he does great some days, and other days he doesn't do great. The garden requires a lot of attention and work, including watering it and keeping the crows away. The crows were a big nuisance to Matt. He can't even grill any of the crows for fear of wasting his gunpowder, so he can't shoot them because he's afraid of losing the gunpowder that he has because his father told him to use it wisely and sparingly. He tries to combat the birds by staying up all night and sleeping during the day, but that's an epic failure too because the fire goes out. And Matt's hunger is like an animal, he says, chewing from the inside out. So he spends much of his day hunting with his trusty rifle. Matt is feeling pretty good about his days, except for a little twitch in his brain every once in a while about the Indians. Because remember, at this time period, he's still very concerned about the Indians. He's very fearful of the Indians. He's never seen one and doesn't expect to either, thanks to the Treaty of the Penobscot Indians made with the English. Sometimes he gets the feeling, though, that somebody is watching him. His dad told him when he sees the Indians just to talk to them like he were seeing somebody in church. Hello, go about your business. They don't want any trouble. If they're left, they don't want any trouble. Matt saw his dad, lift his hand one time to an Indian walking by and was very respectful to the Indian. The Indian responded back. So he says, Matt, the Indians don't want any trouble. And neither does Matt. So Matt also realizes that the forest is anything but quiet, especially at night, between the porcupine gruntings, the loon cries, the owl hoo-hoots, the regular symphony of different kinds of animals in there. It's very hard for him to sleep. Sometimes Matt thinks that it would be easier to have someone to bounce ideas off of, even if it were his little sister. So that concludes chapter 2, the summary of chapter 2. And I'd like us just to remember, I'll send an email, but be ready for Monday at 1:30. Notebooks and pen or pencil in hand. Have a great night.